and some of the barriers that people face once they complete or exit foster care. And our guests, Pastor Walker and Ms. Redmond and Ms. Sparks, are giving us some excellent information in reference to some of the issues that are involved in this whole issue of foster care. Let's go back to you, Ms. Redmond, since you've been involved in this process and you understand a lot about it, and sort of enlighten our audience in terms of some of the challenges that you see, and then Ms. Sparks will talk about how these individuals are operating within the school system, and then again, Pastor Walker will have an opportunity to sort of summarize up some of the things that we're doing.
Okay, well, a lot of challenges I see that these youth are having. I'm a member of the Foster Care Review Board at Juvenile Justice Center down in Nashville, Tennessee, and without saying names, because there's so many cases, we've just formed a board that's focused on youth exiting out of foster care. I see a lot of issues with the kids, with some of the youth, that starts off with just having people involved in their lives that really are concerned about the youth. That's
love and care is you believe that's something that would be something that all of them would need.
That's the biggest thing. If it's, I recently did some research and saw the little boy that went up in front of the church. He had on a suit that was borrowed. He's 16 years old. It was in the news everywhere, and he stood up in front of church asking for a family. And I think that's just what these kids want. They just want a true family. They just want someone to love them. They just want someone to guide them. And with that in mind, I think that more scrutiny should be paid attention to who brings these kids into their homes, even though there is a rigorous process to get those kids into the homes. But is the foster parent doing what they're supposed to do once the kid get into the home? Now that's the issue when they come to Foster Care Review Board that we see.
Foster parents are compensated for keeping children, keeping these individuals.
Yes, they get a board payment. They receive a payment, a board payment, which probably really isn't a lot, but in order for these kids to continue to be eligible for the payment after they exit out the foster care system, they have to be enrolled in a post-secondary school or either in an educational or vocational school in order for them to continue, so their housing, their placement won't be in jeopardy. So having a roof over their head won't be in jeopardy. Now, if the foster parent is not doing what they're supposed to do in order to help this kid get placed in a college or accepted in a university, that payment, when they graduate high school, is going to stop, that board payment, so that puts them at risk. And as a Foster Care Review Board member, those are just some of the concerns that we have, that everybody all around the board is doing what they have to do, and for these kids to be successful. And sometimes it's pretty sad to watch, because a lot of the kids they're really dependent on their parent to help them to get across.
And don't know any directions, and it seems that they need the kind of guidance that perhaps some of the parents are not providing. Ms. Sparks, dealing with the metropolitan school system, you've been involved with it from that perspective. How does the school system react in reference to these foster children?
Well, a lot of times I think the children are not getting the services that they need within the school system. And I think that's where a starting point, organizations like ours can, come in and serve as a bridge between foster care and independent living. And I would, like to see us, at some point have the facilities, have a kitchen, a classroom, computers, everything that we need to equip these children with, well, young adults really, with the job acquisition and retention skills they need to be successful, not only to get a job or to get in post-secondary education, but to stay there and complete it and finish, or if they choose the work path, to be successful on the job.
And so we're talking about a considerable number of children who might fall into that category,
Right.
And so it wouldn't be bad policy for the school system to sort of provide some kind of activity there that deals specifically with them outside of the rest of the students that are there. That is to
Right.
sort of zero in on that group. Is that what we're saying here, Ms. Redmond?
Yeah, that's kind of sort of what we're saying. I've worked in family literacy programs, worked in community organizations, and even as I taught for 4 years, also I've always worked with the at-risk population some type of way in the community environment. And I think that maybe if we can identify that population, if we can go in and identify that population within the school system, maybe talk to some guidance counselors and start some type of family program within that would allow people to be able to see us and who we are and what we have to offer. It would really get more exposure out to that we just want to be a bridge in the gap in services. A lot of the programs, we have some great programs out here, but I don't think that, I know for a fact that this hospitality culinary program that we have in our organization is one that has been researched very thoroughly. We have formulated it according to stats and statistics and what's going on in Nashville as far as industry, as Ms. Sparks spoke about, is employment. And a lot of these children, they're not going to college right away. So what we want to do is just get them involved in some skill-based programs that will allow them to be able to become employed. I also researched recently some of the industry here, Kroger's, how many jobs. We offer a cake decorating class. I researched Kroger's and saw what they had to offer, what type of money that they pay for cake decorators. It sounds small, but it's always good to have something to fall back on. You know, they can even take it as far as doing private things for people and earn money. These programs are important, you know, to have skills that they can use. So.
Ms. Sparks, the final statement in reference to what the Metropolitan School can do, and then we'll have Pastor Walker to sort of wrap us up today. But what else do you think that you might be able to do in the Metropolitan School system, even if it's only to identify some of the people that are involved in the system? How would the young people react to being identified as being part of the foster care system? Would there be a problem in reference to that?
I don't think so, because usually they will tell you. The students that I have known that have been in foster care, the only reason I knew is because they told me they were in foster care, and it's been times that they've asked for help. You know, like we helped a young man last year who was a senior in foster care because he wanted to go to the prom, but he had no resources. So we helped him financially, you know, to get the resources he needed to go to the prom, which, you know, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it really is for, you know, a young person that's a senior in high school. So I think what we could do in Metro is just embrace organizations like Starting Point Project, Inc. You know, just be open. If Metro would just be open and just embrace programs and just let us come in and help where we can, I think that would be the most important thing that they could do.
Very good. And of course, Pastor Walker, let's sort of allow you to sort of wrap us up here today and think in terms of what the churches and perhaps other organizations might be able to do to make this widely known, more known than it is now.
I think it would be important for churches in terms of getting involved and form partnerships with organizations like Ms. Redmond's organization to help bridge that gap, because I'm sure that some of the horrors that some of the youth experience in the foster care system itself, and then, as she said earlier, how people age out and they just want to get out of the system because of some of the things that may have gone through while in the system. At one point, I sat on the Davidson County Foster Care Review Board many years ago, and that was one of the things we did, making sure that these children was provided the services that they were supposed to be provided by the foster parents. In a lot of the cases, they were not being provided, and it was us to advocate on behalf of the youth.
Very good. Let me thank the three of you for bringing that excellent information in reference to foster care, because I think it's something that not many people reflect upon. And so I want to thank you for that. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.